So you go to a party and you see one of those cakes, those really fancy cakes, and you think, wow, that must have cost an arm and a leg. Maybe not. Heidi Goitia is going to show us how to take a store-bought cake and make it look like it was a fancy, expensive cake.
Good morning. I want all you moms to come over to the TV right now, because not only are we going to make you the hit of the neighborhood, even your friends and neighbors will be jealous, but we're going to save you a whole lot of money. We're talking about cakes, and we're learning from the pros, somebody who has created this. This is a shoe made entirely of fondant. So the guy we're going to talk to here in a minute really knows what he's talking about. He's created cakes, a full-size one of Lady Gaga, even Cher. So we're going to give you some tips on how to take a cake mix or something you bake in your own house, or a cake from a store bakery, and jazz it up a little bit so you have a professional looking cake for your next birthday party or a family gathering. This is Chef Jay. Good morning. We're at the Cake Shop near Central and Highland. People can look up online if they can't read your name tag and see what that stands for. So you've just taken a basic buttercream cake,
Correct.
which a lot of people, I mean, we can get that anywhere.
Anywhere.
And we're going to jazz it up. Where do we start?
Where do we start? Well, we're going to start with fondant. It's,
okay.
You can get it now at a lot of specialty stores.
Yeah, it's
Michael's.
It's kind of intimidating to people, but he said they're starting to sell it in these individual packets, so that's going to make it a lot easier for folks.
All right, very easy.
Okay, so what are you going to make?
Okay, we're going to do this on a smooth surface cutting board counter, and we're just going to put a real thin layer of shortening, and then roll it out fairly thin. Move it around a lot. It does get sticky.
And the thing about fondant is if you mess up, you just ball it up and start over.
You ball it up, start over.
It's like Play-Doh.
Yeah. So yeah, you can move around Play-Doh, you can shape it. We're going to use a mat and put some texture on it. A mat, this was actually designed for clay, but you can use any kind of thing that has
And we were saying maybe a silverware pattern that's pretty ornate, you can just press that in to get a different design.
Anything you have, you can make designs in it with pretty much anything. So here we're just going to cut some simple stripes out.
And fondant will stick to the buttercream on its own, is that right?
Easily, yes.
Okay.
And you don't put, just lean it up against it and then cut it off.
And then just keep adding it around.
Yep. Sticks.
So let's talk really quickly as you do this about some of those fancy cakes we were referring to earlier. The life-size one of Cher and Lady Gaga.
Yes.
How do you approach a project like that?
Well, I think first is to figure out the structure that needs to happen. So staying on two legs is a little more difficult than a big gown. So structure is just a lot of pipe structure in the center, and then just stack the cakes up.
Just keep stacking. How long does something like that take you?
The Gaga took me 80 hours. Cher probably took me about 100 hours.
Okay.
And that wasn't including the baking time.
But it's got to be a fun project for you to do. Something like this, though, more simply, that we're helping moms achieve on their own. How much time would this take?
Time, you know, if you want to
do it in an afternoon,
you can do it an hour or less, probably. You know, if you have a design ready, you can just.
Just kind of let your imagination go. You've just taken some fondant here and balled it up into little balls. You can also add, after the strips, there's these beads too, because a lot of this stuff is becoming more readily available for folks.
Grocery stores are starting to carry a lot of the beads and fondant, other decorative, lots of tools. I found it at grocery store.
Just kind of they're kind of getting on board with this. Okay, really quickly, some tips for actually baking the cake, how to make it. If you're just taking a box cake like most of us do, what are some tips to make it taste really good?
With the box mix, there's several things you can do. A classic is adding, I'd say Jello. It's Jello pudding mixed to it.
Keeps it
to the
moist.
mix. Helps the moisture. Also, when you're assembling the cake, simple syrup, which is equal parts sugar and water, that you cook till it dissolves, and then let it cool and put that on your cake as you assemble it.
There you go. Some good tips out here at the Cake Shop near Central and Highland, and of course we'll put information on his location and what the KAK stands for, of course, on our website at azfamily.com. We'll send it back to you guys.